He walked into the room, unnoticed at first, carrying nothing but his quiet dignity. People laughed, whispered, and judged him before even giving him a chance. Everyone assumed they knew his story, except for one person. In just a single moment, everything changed. A small act, a shocking revelation, something that no one saw coming, would flip hate into respect, leaving everyone speechless. What happened next is so powerful, so unexpected, that it will make you question your own assumptions. Stay with me till the very end, because this story isn't just about one man. It's a mirror reflecting all of us. The city was buzzing with life, streets crowded with people hurrying to their destinations. Among them was Marcus, a young black man with a calm demeanor moving quietly through the chaos. He wasn't loud or confrontational, just an ordinary man trying to live his life. But in a world where appearances speak louder than actions, Marcus often found himself judged before a word was spoken. That morning, he entered a sleek office building downtown carrying a folder of papers and a small backpack. The receptionists barely looked up, their eyes skimming past him as though he didn't exist. People in the waiting area whispered behind, their hands, glances heavy with silent assumptions. Marcus had learned to ignore it, but today, something felt different. The air seemed charged, and every step he took felt heavier, as if the walls themselves were watching him, weighing his presence. He was there for a routine meeting, a chance to discuss a simple project, yet even this small interaction felt like stepping into a battlefield. He noticed a few people glancing his way, their expressions a mix of skepticism and curiosity. Nobody spoke to him directly, but their judgment was deafening. Little did anyone know, Marcus was carrying a story that would challenge every stereotype. In that room, what happened next would turn disbelief into awe, hatred into respect, and change the perspective of everyone who thought they knew him. It was a moment that no one could have predicted. And it all started with something so small, so seemingly ordinary. As Marcus sat in the meeting room, the atmosphere was tense. Colleagues whispered, glanced sideways, and exchanged subtle smirks, all carrying a silent judgment. The meeting began, and Marcus presented his ideas with clarity and confidence. Yet, every suggestion he made was met with hesitation or skepticism, often interrupted by unnecessary questions, doubts, or dismissive remarks. It was clear that some in the room weren't evaluating his work. They were evaluating him. The injustice stung, but Marcus refused to let it break him. He remained composed, answering questions thoughtfully, proving his knowledge with every word. Then, a small but critical detail shifted everything. Marcus noticed something in the files that others had overlooked, a mistake that could have cost the project significant losses. He pointed it out calmly, explaining the potential consequences and offering a solution. The room fell silent. The very people who had doubted him moments ago were now forced to listen, to reconsider their judgments, and to acknowledge his expertise. Every minute dragged on with heightened suspense, the tension building as Marcus continued to navigate the room filled with skepticism. There were moments when it seemed his efforts might go unnoticed, but with every correct analysis, every insight, he chipped away at the walls of prejudice. The whispers and sidelong glances slowly transformed into attentive observation. The seeds of doubt about him in others' minds began to crumble. By now, it was clear. This wasn't just a meeting. It was a test. Not only of Marcus's abilities, but of the room's willingness to see beyond ingrained biases. And as the atmosphere shifted ever so slightly, the stage was set for something no one could ignore. A single moment that would change everything. The room was silent, every eye fixed on Marcus. For a moment, time seemed to stretch. The tension that had built over hours culminated in this single instant. Marcus's calm demeanor hadn't wavered, but inside he felt the weight of every assumption pressing down on him. Then it happened. One of the senior managers, the very person who had been most skeptical, glanced at the documents Marcus had highlighted. Their expression shifted from doubt to disbelief. A critical error unnoticed by everyone else had been caught only because Marcus had been attentive and thorough. The realization struck the room like lightning. The project could have faced serious consequences if not for him. Voices that had been quietly dismissive now trembled with acknowledgement. "How did we miss this?" someone whispered, not in accusation, but in awe. Every person who had doubted him, every sneer, every judgment, was now confronted with a truth they couldn't ignore. Marcus hadn't asked for recognition. He hadn't demanded respect. He had simply done his work with integrity, proving that assumptions based on appearance were not only wrong, they were dangerous. A silence followed, heavy and almost sacred, as the room absorbed what had just happened. The energy shifted. Those who had been skeptical now looked at him with admiration, respect, and even remorse. It wasn't just about catching a mistake. It was about seeing Marcus for who he truly was, beyond the stereotypes, beyond the assumptions. In that pivotal moment, the room transformed. Hate, judgment, and doubt melted away, replaced by acknowledgement, appreciation, and respect. Marcus's actions had spoken louder than words ever could. One small act, carried out with integrity and focus, had rewritten the narrative in the minds of everyone present. And as he quietly collected his papers and prepared to leave, the unspoken lesson hung in the air. Respect is earned not through appearances or assumptions, but through actions. The moment that changed everything had arrived, and no one in that room would ever forget it. As Marcus left the office that day, the energy he felt was unlike anything he had experienced before. The room that had once been heavy with skepticism and silent judgment now buzzed with quiet admiration. People who had once whispered doubts about him now carried a new understanding, a realization that the lens through which they viewed others could be completely wrong. The lesson lingered long after the meeting ended. It wasn't just about Marcus, or that one project, or even that office room. It was about the countless moments in life when we allow stereotypes and biases to cloud our judgment. How often do we dismiss someone before we truly know them? How often do we let appearances dictate respect? Marcus's quiet courage reminded everyone that integrity, attention, and humanity speak louder than prejudice ever could. So, as you watch this story, think about your own assumptions. Who have you judged without knowing? Who might you have overlooked or dismissed simply because of their appearance? Marcus's story challenges us all to pause, reflect, and choose understanding over prejudice. One moment can change everything, just like it did here. If you've experienced or witnessed injustice, share your story in the comments. I might even make a video about it to raise awareness and justice. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so together we can spread the message further.